Ladies and gentlemen in the boat, for your safety, please keep your arms and legs, hands and feet fully inside the boat and remain seated throughout our entire voyage. For the courtesy and comfort of those around you, we request we no eating, drinking, smoking, and please no flash photography. You can take pictures, just please don't get flash. Welcome aboard. My name is Mark and I'll be your guide in our cruise across the land and the future of agriculture. Our journey starts here with seeds ready to be planted and nurtured by the land. Feeding the world depends on our ability to work with the land and to originate seeds into tomorrow's harvest. The land is our partner, and we should listen to what it can teach us. Plant life is just the beginning. Drama plant life starts with seed, but that's only the beginning. From seeds grow plants are its own natural factories, providing us with grains, fruits, and vegetables.
The rain must fall. Did it once again, new year and spring.
Long ago, people gathered food wherever they could find it. Today's farmers grow their own crops in many different environments. But these environments often present difficult challenges, so once again we must work with the land and listen. What challenges do we face in a tropical rainforest? This seems to be exploding with life. Yet due to the tremendous rain, humidity, and rugged terrain make food cultivation difficult. Life. The challenge of the desert is quite the opposite. In the burning sun evaporates water faster than nature can supply it. With scorching heat and blinding sandstorms, can the desert ever support our crops? People once asked that question about the wild American prairie. This land confronted settlers with unpredictable weather, brush fires, swarms of locusts, and other pests. But the land was there, vast and fertile. Was transformed. Generations of family farmers learned to work with their land. Together they grew the crops to feed the nation. Let's look back at the pioneering achievements of American farmers. Research continues to give us better plant and animal production, as well as new insights into matching the right crops to the right environment. We now have better machines and seeds, better fertilizers and pest management. New technologies allow us to produce even more food per acre. But to meet the needs of the future, we must continue to study. The drop that much United States in 1988 proves we still have a lot to learn. We're now entering a special part of Epcot Center. In this showcase, you'll see simulated tropic and desert farms and other research facilities. Some of these plants have great potential for the future, and many of our crops are harvested and then served in Epcot Center restaurants. To ensure year-round harvest, their growing areas are climate-controlled and fully enclosed. This provides a showcase for displaying the new concepts, tools, and technologies that may shape tomorrow's farm. Due to the carefully controlled conditions, we ask you please keep your hands inside the boat and please refrain from touching the plants. Thank you. Crop selection is critical and farming is to succeed. Here in our simulated tropical farm, we intercropped coconut with cacao. Intercropping means growing two or more plants together to produce more food in less space. Tropic farms offer plenty of rainfall, strong sunshine, and mild temperatures year-round. Crops like papaya, sugarcane, bananas, and rice thrive in these conditions. Rice is one of 3 crops that provide nearly 80% of the world's food. It's an excellent grain to grow here because it thrives in many different tropical terrains, such as flooded areas, mountainsides, and even rocky terraces like these. Two other plants that thrive in the tropics are pineapple, which take 18 to 24 months to produce a single fruit. Vanilla, whose pods are highly valued for flavoring, and is the only edible member of the orchid family. The many thawing and plants found in tropical rainforests could yield rich new crops for the future. That's why we must study the tropics carefully, to preserve these resources and learn to use them wisely. Agriculture includes aquaculture. Fish farming is one of our fastest growing food industries. And in small aqua like this one, we can produce tons of seafood crops. We select officially prepared food and live comfortably in crowded conditions. Because of this, tilapia is one of the best species of fish for aquaculture. The paddlefish to your left are native in the Missouri River and a source of caviar. Many of the fish harvested from our aqua cell are served in our restaurant. Here in these aqua soups, you get a closer look at some of these fish. For conservation, we recondition our water by removing waste and adding oxygen. This technology in aquaculture can be used in the harshest of climates, even the sun-parched desert.
Catfish.
Remember the hot, barren desert? Even here we can grow crops if we listen to the land. By delivering water directly to the roots of plants, we can conserve water supply. Computerized drip irrigation systems like ours may be used extensively in the future. However, such advanced systems aren't always needed. Plants with great farming potential already thrive in the desert. For example, the fast-growing lucina tree, which provides shade, it is a renewable source of wood. By planting drought-resistant crops such as millet or sorghum, we retain viable topsoil while growing important cereal and cattle feed. So as you can see, even the challenges of the desert may be met with careful study and the use of appropriate technology. This is a production greenhouse for the Walt Disney World restaurant. We don't grow everything our guests eat, but in this small area we do harvest tons of crops. With a controlled environment, we can use some unusual methods for producing healthy plants. By growing crops vertically, we save a lot of space, and it makes the plants easier to inspect for disease and pests. We even grow crops without soil, it's called hydroponics. The nutrients normally found in soil are dissolved into water and then delivered to the plants. Here you see lettuce floating on a hydroponic solution. Each year, nearly 1/3 of the world's crops are destroyed by disease and pests. What can we do about this season? Land's natural pest control? Here at Epcot Center, we're using integrated pest management, the use of several pest control methods working together. For example, we release ladybugs into our greenhouses. Ladybugs eat aphids or our most troublesome pests. We also rotate our crops to avoid seasonal problems and use disease-resistant plants such as tomatoes and peppers. When necessary, we carefully use pesticide spraying, an important tool for farmers around the world. As we move into the future, we'll still rely on traditional farming techniques. And we use newer methods too, methods we're studying here at Epcot Center. We may even see crops growing on imaginative assembly lines. Space explorers rely on plants not only for food, but to help recycle the water and oxygen they need. Here we are developing a simulated lunar soil to study crop production on the moon. This soil was patterned after samples brought back by the Apollo astronauts. These growing systems are identical to the ones at the Kennedy Space Center. Along with them, we are helping to pioneer space agriculture. For thousands of years, farmers have worked to breed superior crops. We're taking this process one step further by working directly with the genetic materials inside plant cells. This new science of biotechnology may revolutionize agriculture. We may be able to help plants adapt to their environment, but making them more resistant to drought, disease, and pests. We're developing more nutritious fruits and vegetables with naturally longer shelf life. With concepts, tools, and technologies like these, we can build on our successful farming tradition. Our future depends on a partnership with nature. The land has much to teach us. It's up to us to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, for your enjoyment, we do have two other attractions in the land pavilion. To the right, we exit our boat is the kitchen cabaret, a land that loves good nutrition. On the upper level is the harvest theater featuring the movie Symbiosis, a closer look at man's relationship to the land. If you're interested in exiting the land pavilion, please return to the sliding glass doors located on the upper level. Now for your safety, please keep your arms and legs, hands and feet fully inside the boat, remaining seated until you come to a full and complete stop beyond these brown railings. Once we've come to a complete stop, please gather all your personal belongings, take small children from it by the hand, lower your head and please watch your step as you disembark. On behalf of Kraft General Foods, our pavilion sponsor, the Walt Disney Company, and myself, Mark, hope you've enjoyed listening to Land, and hope you have a pleasant evening here at Epcot Center.
earth and man can be good friends. Let's listen so our harvest time will never